Hello guys, I have another book haul. I am so excited. I'm also out of breath because that took a little while to organize and arrange. As you can see, I am in a new setting, so if you haven't watched my moving out and moving in vlog, you should go watch that. I'll link it somewhere in the screen. So I counted, I have 45 books. It's the fall season. I went a little bit crazy with buying fantasy books, but I'm so excited because fall is the time to read all the fantasy and romance and everything else, because you can read any book any time of the year. Before we start, I want to unbox this package that Magic Mind sent me. I don't really have a knife, so I'm gonna have to do it with... I got it open. They sent me another pack of their mental performance shots. I actually received one of these last month, and then they sent me another one. And if you don't already know, I've mentioned this in my past videos. These are little mental performance shots or productivity shots that boost energy and focus, crush procrastination, and elevate mental clarity. I've been taking this every morning since I got it, and I kind of use it as like a pre-workout or my health shot of the day. I'm gonna just take a shot with you guys. Cheers. It has helped me focus on doing things throughout the day, especially now that I'm trying to study for my NCLEX and just like getting up early and trying to get stuff done throughout the day. And this, I feel like, has helped so much. And if you're like me who's sensitive to caffeine, this has minimal caffeine and it does not make me shaky or dizzy or anything like that. So if you're interested, you can use my code Shelly20 for up to 48% off your first subscription. Everything will be linked down below. Again, thank you Magic Mind for sending me another pack of your amazing mental performance shots. Anyway, let's get into the book haul that everyone is waiting for. I am gonna start with this big pile in the back. This is all romance. I know romance is to be read during the summer, but I just love romance, and like with any book haul that you're gonna see from me, there's gonna be like 50% romance. So just to let you know. First few books that I'm gonna show you, I already have it, but it's in a different edition. I'm obsessed with these, and I feel like you already know what it is. It is the UK edition of the Magnolia Park series. I like to give a shout out to Austin, my boyfriend, who went to London this summer and got me these. Like, I am obsessed, and I just love him so much. Like, he carried these all the way from there. First one in the series, Magnolia Parks. Like, after reading the book, I understand this. First time I saw it, I was like, okay, like that looks weird, but now I understand everything and I am obsessed. And the back, it's just BJ Magnolia. I love it, and it's like huge compared to regular paperbacks. The next one is Daisy Hates. Also love this cover. Ugh, I'm so obsessed. Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home. I think this one might be my favorite. It's so pretty, and I haven't read all the series yet, so whatever. I got it because of the covers. The next one, The Great Undoing, Daisy Hates. And the very last one, I think this is my favorite one out of all of them, Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. Like, isn't this just gorgeous? Stunning. Thank you, Austin. I love you. The next book in that pile is The Love of My Afterlife by Christy Greenwood. I've been seeing this all over TikTok, and just like the synopsis of it is so funny. So this one is about Daphne. Daphne dies from choking on a microwavable burger. Like, you got me there already. She dies and she goes to this like waiting room for heaven where she meets the hottest man she's ever seen in her life. They start to chat and stuff like that, waiting to go to heaven or something, and someone barges into the waiting room and is like, oh, there's a terrible mistake, and the hot man is sent back to Earth because he wasn't supposed to die. Is it Delphi? Did I say her name is Daphne? Sorry, her name's Delphi, it says. Now Delphi's like devastated because she was like, I just met this man and I thought he was gonna be my soulmate in heaven, but then she was offered to return to Earth to reconnect with this mysterious man, but she has to find him in a city of millions of people. And then it says Daphne is going to have to listen to her heart, learn to ask for help, and perhaps even see the magic in the life she's leaving behind. People said it's really funny, it's like easy to read, and just like the unique plot twist of it. The next one is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. I think this one came out during the summer months, like recently. Absolutely love the Honeymooners by her. So this one is about Anna and Liam. Anna and Liam live totally opposite lives. Anna is a hot mess. She is living paycheck to paycheck, while Liam is like super rich, professor and has his life together. In college, they decided to get married so that they can have a cheaper rent. After graduation, they plan to sign divorce papers and leave it at that. But then 3 years later, Liam finds that he needs Anna's help and realizes that they're not divorced. So Liam is one of the heirs to this very rich family, and one of the conditions in his grandfather's will is that he has to be married in order to get the money from his inheritance. So he calls up Anna and says, look, I have a situation, need your help. And he brings her to his family and tries to convince that they're happily married and love each other. Like, I was so shocked to find that Christina Lauren was 2 authors. I didn't even know that. So cool. I thought it was one person this whole time. The next book is a novel love story by Ashley Poston. This is her new release recently, and I absolutely love The 7 Years Slip by her, so I have high expectations for this. So this one follows Eileen, or Elsie. She is going up to go to a cabin for her annual book club meeting, but everyone canceled on her, so she's going by herself. During the 16-hour road trip, I think, she gets caught in the middle of the storm and pulls over in this random town. This town later is revealed to be the town from her favorite fictional story, and she's stuck in this story for I don't know how many days. Can you just imagine, like, being stuck in your favorite book's world? Like, please, I want to go to Valaris or the Night Court. I will jump in that cauldron, because there's still one bat boy that doesn't have a mate, and I'll happily be that. Like, I wish. She knows everyone. It's her favorite book. She knows all the characters inside and out, knows their past and everything, and the romances that's going on. And then she comes across this bookstore owner that she doesn't recognize from the book, and she's trying to figure out who he is. He is the love interest in this book. I heard it's a little bit of like a Grumpy Sunshine trope, so that's cool. That's all I know from the back. The next book is also a new book that recently came out. Is Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. Now, I heard so much about this book that this book is like very, very spicy compared to her other books. Kind of excited, kind of not. I don't know. This book is about Rue and Eli. They meet on a dating app, I think, from what I've seen on TikTok, and they end up like meeting for a casual night, but then it gets interrupted by someone and they don't end up doing anything. But then the next day they come across each other again, but in the work setting. Apparently Eli's business is taking over Rue's company or something. That's what I know. That's what I have heard, and that's the plot. It says, torn between loyalty and an undeniable attraction, Rue and Eli throw caution out the lap in boardroom windows. Their affair is secret, no strings attached, and has a built-in deadline. The day one of their companies prevails, but the heart is a risky business that plays for keeps. So it's like a workplace romance. Okay, the next few books are by the same author. The first one is Same Time Next Summer. I know this is like a summary book and this is like a fall video, but I just really wanted to read this. I'm going on vacation somewhere tropical, so I might bring this. This book is about Sam. From the outside, it looks like she has her life together. She has a well-paying job. She is engaged to a perfect doctor fiance named Jack, and they go back, I think, to her family's summer vacation home to plan their wedding, but there's something off. Wyatt, her first love, is there, I think, living next door, and all these memories of them being together come flooding back. And it says Sam remembers who she used to be, and as Wyatt re-enters her life, their connection is as undeniable as it always was. She will have to make a choice. So it's giving like second chance trope. The next book is Nora Goes Off Script. This one is about a romance channel screenwriter, Nora Hamilton. She is a screenwriter. Her husband ends up leaving her and divorcing her, and she ends up writing a movie about her marriage, and it gets picked up by a movie company or production company. I don't know, but it's being filmed at her house, and there's this guy who's described as the former sexiest man alive, Leo Vance, who plays her ex-husband and essentially kind of falls in love with him. So she goes off script. So that's the synopsis of all that. The next book is her newest one, which is Summer Romance. Now this one I heard so much about. It follows the story of Ali Morris. She is a professional organizer whose own life is a mess. Her mom died a couple years ago, her husband left her, and now she's a single mom. Things are just not going well for her. One day she's walking her dog and her dog pees on someone, and that someone is Ethan, who is a love interest in this book. What's better than a summer romance for a single mom, newly divorced, and is not doing well. A Summer Fling. The next 2 books I got are part of a series, and that series is the Knock 'Em Out series. The second book, Things We Hide from the Light, and the third book, Things We Left Behind. I'm pretty sure these are like small town romances. I don't know what it's about, really. That's all I know. I haven't read the first book, but since I moved and books are more expensive up here, I needed to get as much books as I can get. The next book I got is also by Lucy Score, By a Thread. Look how pretty this cover is. But the only thing I don't like is that why do her romance books, why are they so thick? I think they're like 500 600 pages. There's like a lot of debate online around that. A lot of people love it, but there's also some people who don't like it because a good romance book is like 300 pages. Like, we don't need to go over that. I heard this is like a billionaire grumpy sunshine trope, and it's about Dominique and Allie. Allie is trying to make ends meet because she has, I think, a sick father, and she's trying to make enough money just to have enough for him to stay at like a long-term care home, I think. And then Dominique on the other side totally hates her and wants to fire her but can't because his mother hired her. And I think from what I heard that there's a lot of bickering, banter and all that. She's not afraid to call him out, and things happen and they fall in love. The next book series that I got is so pretty. I'm so in love because it has sprayed edges. I got all these from Costco, by the way, because it was so much cheaper there. It is the If We Love series by Anna Hwang. I think I have all her books now. I have this, I have the Twisted Love series, and like the 7 Zen series. I don't know. I think she re-released them because they came out like 2020 or 2022, but I saw these there and they were sprayed edges and I'm like, I have to have them. The first book, If We Ever Meet Again, is I think students who meet abroad. Is that a trope? This is about Farah and Blake. They both go for a year abroad in Shanghai. Farah meets Blake and it says 19-year-old Farah Lynn is going to fall in love for the first time during her year abroad in Shanghai. She's sure of it. The only problem, question mark, her would-be leading man is her new friend's boyfriend. There's nothing worse than being in love with someone you can't have, or at least she thinks it's love. What is that? Don't date your friend's boyfriends. And then Blake is like a college football star, decides to leave, which shocks everyone because he was on his way to like a professional career. He escapes to Shanghai where he vows to keep life simple, no football, no commitments, no romance. But no matter how hard he tries, he can't keep a certain beautiful brunette off his mind or out of his heart. The second one, If the Sun Never Sets. Oh, it's about Farah again. I thought it was like the Twisted Love series where it's different friends groups, but I guess it's about her. It says, when Farah Lynn walked into her lunch meeting, she didn't expect to see him. Blake Ryan, her first love, her first heartbreak, and now her first client as a freelance interior designer. It's been 5 years, but she'll never forget the way he shattered her. He whispers pretty words, but she'll never believe him. Her body craves his, but she'll never give him her heart. Not again, not ever. So it's about her. Again, I'm wondering if the third book is also about her. This one is If Love Had a Price. Green. Love this color. Oh, this one's not about her. Chris and Nate. Apparently Chris pays Nate $10,000 to seduce her father's gold-digging fiance. The father's fiance is a gorgeous actor, way younger than the father, and Nate counters the offer, asks for $15,000 and a kiss from her at any time he chooses. It says he did it for the money, which he desperately needed. The kiss was just a bonus, or so he told himself. Melting an ice princess like Chris started as a challenge, but by the time Nate realized there was more to Chris than meets the eye, it was too late. He had fallen. The last book, If We Were Perfect, is not about Chris and Nate. It's about Sammy and Olivia. It says at the top here, 2 exes, 1 house. What could go wrong? So apparently Olivia had a plan. She wanted to settle down by 32, have 2 kids and all that. Things did not go to plan and her apartment floods. She loses half of her belongings. Now she's looking for a place to stay and she ends up calling her ex up for help and moves in with him. Close proximity, second chance romance, question mark. That brings it to the end of the romance pile. I know that kind of took a while. Okay, now we're gonna move into like the thriller, mysteries, all that, and it is this pile right here. The first series I got is the Inheritance Game series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I heard so much about this and I don't know why I haven't picked it up. This is like a YA mystery series. It is about this billionaire guy named Tobias Hawthorne, who leaves his entire will to Avery, and Avery doesn't even know who this guy is. She gets approached by like a guy, I think one of Tobias's like grandsons or something, to go to like the mansion and go through the will, but she ends up solving riddles and essentially games to uncover secrets about the family and potentially her tie into things. And this book series has a subplot of romance. I think she ends up being in a love triangle between Tobias's two grandsons, and that's just exciting. Like, I heard these books are fast-paced, easy to read, and the romance is to die for apparently. So I got first book, The Inheritance Games, The Hawthorne Legacy, and The Final Gambit. And the next series is also by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and this is like a very popular series. I know. I don't know why I haven't picked it up. It is the Natural series. I heard these books were very like Criminal Minds coded, but make it YA. So apparently our main character, 17-year-old Cassie, gets recruited in this FBI thing where they let teenagers basically solve their cold cases. She is put into this house with other teenagers who have like a special gift. Like, I don't know what the special gift is. Do they have superpowers? I don't know. There are 4 books in the series. The first book is The Naturals, Killer Instinct, all in. Fourth and final book is Bad Blood, Taylor's version. And the next book I think is a romance. I don't know why it's in my thriller pile, but it is The Nightingale by Christine Hanna. I've heard so much good things about her books. I want to start reading them this fall. The first one I heard about, very popular, is The Nightingale, and I think it's like a historical fiction taking place in World War II. I can't talk. It says The Nightingale tells the story of 2 sisters separated by years and experienced by ideals, passion, and circumstance, each embarking on their own dangerous path towards survival, love, and freedom in German-occupied, war-torn France. A heartbreaking, beautiful novel that celebrates the resilience of human spirit and the durability of women. It is a novel for everyone, a novel for a lifetime. The next book is Leather and Lark. This is the second book after the Butcher and Blackbird book. I haven't actually read it. It's right here. I haven't read it, but it came out, so I was like, you know what? If people love it, I'll probably love it too. This one is like, I think, another serial killer love story. It says, after contract killer Lachlan Kane watches a job for his boss's biggest client, he knows he'll never claw his way out of the underworld, at least not until Songbird Lark offers him a deal. Hunt down a killer and she'll secure his freedom. The catch, he has to marry her and they can't stand each other. So I think it's like a marriage of convenience. And I think they're both killers. Love it, love it. The next book is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. The first book I read by her is None of This Is True, which is like the podcast murder mystery or thriller. Wasn't really a fan of that as much as I thought I would. So this is like my second chance at giving her books a shot. So this one is apparently about a little girl named Ellie Mack. She was a perfect daughter, but then one day she just disappears. This one I think is in her mother's point of view, Laurel Mack. It's about her going through her grief and just how it's affecting her life. It all affects her relationship with her family. She ends up getting separated with a husband and just things fall apart. 10 years later, she realizes she needs to pick her life back up and starts dating. She meets this guy named Floyd who has a daughter named Poppy who looks exactly like Ellie, her missing daughter. So that's that. There's secrets, lots of secrets to be uncovered, and I heard it's like a good plot twist at the end. But yeah, the next 2 books is literally out of my comfort zone. It's 2 books by a great author named Stephen King. First one is Misery. The only reason why I haven't read any of his books is because I'm so scared. He like writes horror books and I'm literally like, I can't. Like, I get scared and spooked even during the daytime. This one is about a best-selling author named Paul, and he ends up meeting his biggest fan named Annie, but Annie decides to kidnap him and keep him in an isolated house because she got upset that the author killed off her favorite character in the book series, I think. It says, Anna wants Paul to write his greatest work just for her. She has a lot of ways to spur him on. One is a needle, another is an axe, and then there's a blowtorch. So apparently she makes him write the series how she wants it to be and tortures him in exchange if he doesn't cooperate. The next book is Fairy Tale. This is like a thick book and I'm scared, but I heard this one's not as scary as his other books. This book follows Charlie, who is like a regular high school student. He says he's great at baseball and football and a decent student, but then his mom is killed in a hit and run accident. Grief drove his dad to drink, and he learned how to take care of himself from then on. When he's 17, he meets a dog named Radar, and her aging master, Howard Bowditch. Mr. Bowditch lives in like a house in a hill, and that house has a shed where mysterious sounds come from. Charlie ends up doing jobs for Mr. Bowditch, and when Mr. Bowditch dies, he leaves Charlie a cassette tape telling a story no one would believe, and it turns out that the shed is a portal to another world. Okay, well that concludes the thriller murder mystery pile. And now we're left with the fantasies. I feel like I don't have much fantasies, but this is the pile. Okay, the first fantasy series that I got is the Divine Rivals series. I think there's only 2, right? Divine Rivals, the first book, and the second book, Ruthless Vows. I heard so much about this and people loved it, but not so much about this. So I don't know. Apparently this book is a YA romantasy book, but it's very heavy on the romance side. That's what I've been told. Some people have told me that this kind of reminded them of You Got Mail, with like letters being sent back and forth, but in like a magical world. I think this is also like an enemies to lovers, because it's about 2 rival journalists trying to fight for a position wherever they work. But then there's like a war that's going on, and the guy Rowan Kit goes out to report on the war. Apparently Iris's brother is in the war, and she writes letters to him, slips them under her wardrobe where it like disappears and magically gets delivered, but they end up in the hands of Rowan Kit, and they end up like exchanging letters and stuff like that, and I guess like falling in love without knowing that they secretly hate each other in real life. And then this is the second book. Don't know what this is about, just know what this one is about. The next book is like a big brick. This is the 3rd book in the Crescent City series. You can literally throw this at someone's head and it's gonna cause them some serious problems, but don't do that. Don't. The next 2 books is a part of the series, and I absolutely loved the first book. I gave it a 6-star, and that is Powerful and Reckless. The first book was Powerless, and I absolutely loved it. If you don't know what it is, it's about a world full of elites who have powers given to them by the plague, and others who don't have powers called the Ordinaries, and our female main character is an ordinary posing as a elite with psychic abilities, and she's put into this trial basically to showcase your powers, and she cannot let anyone find out that she's an ordinary because she'll get banished. Loved it. Loved the romance. This one is like the novella in between books, Powerful, and I think it's in Adina's point of view. It's one of the characters on there, and it's so cute. Look how little, but I don't know why they didn't make it the same size. Anyways, I got the second book. I was trying to find the limited edition one, like the Indigo limited edition. I think it's like blue. Could not find it, but this is the second book, and I'm so excited to read her because that first book ended with a cliffhanger, and not the ending that I thought. The next book series that I got, I also have the first book, which is right here, The Serpent and the Wings of the Night, and people have been telling me if you love ACOTAR, you're gonna love this series. So I bought the second book, which is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. Love that. I think this one is about vampires. Okay, the next book is another series that is very popular. People compare it to like ACOTAR, Fourth Wing, and like those types of romantasies, and I absolutely love both of those book series, but I heard so many like mixed reviews about this one, so I didn't buy the whole series because I think there's like 9 books, and that is From Blood and Ash. I just bought the first book. Apparently this one is a world that has like gods and vampires. The main character is Poppy. That's all I know. Yeah, and apparently it's just like a slow burn. I don't know what it's about. The next book series, very popular, the Folk of the Air trilogy, and apparently in this world humans and fae coexist. Our main character Jude, her parents died or were murdered when she was 7, and she and her 2 sisters were stolen to live away in the High Court of Fairy world. 10 years later, Jude wants nothing more than to belong there, but many of the fae despise humans, especially Prince Carden, the youngest and wickedest son of the High King, and to win a place at the court, Jude must defy him and face the consequences. Kind of nervous to read it, and I bought all 3 books, so hopefully it's good, but a lot of people have differing opinions. The second last book series in this haul is the Dance of Thieves duology. I think there's just 2 books, right? Look how pretty these books are. This one, the bookstore person recommended to me because I was loving Throne of Glass. Apparently this has like assassins, all that. jazz and like romance and enemies to lovers. Like, you sold me on there. If it's enemies to lovers, like I'm here for it. A lot of people were raving about it, and just like I can't get over the covers, so I bought both of them. The last 2 books in this book haul is also a series, and that is One Dark Window duology. Is that what it's called? Because this duology is apparently like a dark gothic romantasy. I don't even know how to pronounce her name. Oh, it's Elspeth, apparently. Elspeth. It says, needs more than luck to stay alive in the eerie, mist-locked kingdom of Blunter. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her. He keeps secrets, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. When Elspeth meets a mysterious highwayman on the forest road, her life takes a drastic turn. Forced into a world of shadow and deception, she joins a dangerous quest to cure Blunter of the dark magic infecting it, except the highwayman just so happens to be the king's own nephew, captain of the most dangerous men in Blunter, and guilty of high treason. Goes around, I think, trying to collect types of cards with specific powers in them to like help cure the mist that's upon Blunter, the world. So that's what these 2 books are about, and that brings the book haul to an end. My butt is numb from sitting on the floor, but I think there was like 45 books in this book haul. It was just like a typical amount based on my other 2 book hauls up here. And you guys love them. Like, it's the videos that get the most amount of views on my channel, and I love doing them. I love talking about books. I love watching book hauls as well, so I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to use my code Shelly20 for up to 48% off your first subscription, and everything will be linked down below. I hope you liked this video, and I'm so excited to read all these new books. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope I see you in another video. Bye.